Alexa, all lights on.
Okay.
Hello and thank you for tuning in to Worthington University. My name is Joel DeYoung, and today we're going to show you a thing or two about the SmartThings Hub. We did do a brief encounter with it out of the box here, but today we're going to show you a little bit more in-depth programming and equipment that is supported with the hub itself. So without further ado, let's get it going. Alexa, all lights off.
Okay.
Now to what you've all been waiting for. Of course, today the purpose of this video is to overview the Samsung SmartThings with Levitan. Now, I want to go ahead and mention that we do have kits available from Levitan with not only the hub, of course, but also a few switches and dimmers and whatnot. We will have those in certain packages, so give us a call for those details. Of course, we will have pricing and availability as well when you give us a call. Now, one major thing about the Samsung SmartThings as well as any other hub is that the lighting is a big deal. Now everybody always wants to go ahead and automate their house with lighting and sensors and things like that. A lot of things complement each other, and what I have to say is one of my go-to automations is door window contacts and lights. Just like an entryway. So if I wanted to turn on my Levitan lighting from the front door, I would have a door switch on my door, and then when I get home with my groceries, I don't have to fumble around with my grocery bags and the light switches. I will have the door switch open, and then it would turn my Levitan lighting on, which is a pretty neat little thing here. Now, there is some other automation we can do with the Samsung SmartThings. Of course, we can sense water. That will be done with the Favaro flood sensor, as you can see here. It is a pretty small, compact disc. It fits in the palm of my hand, but you also have the option to send some external wires out of it to sense water. And what we can do from that then is automate a water valve, which is on the table as well over here. You can see, and basically, when the water sensor senses water, then it will actually close the main valve to our home and prevent a lot of damage to the home. The next thing then, of course, would be, let's say, a closet where I have, let's say, a multi-sensor. This is actually just a multi-sensor with a few different things, but for this case we would look at doing, let's say, in a closet, when the sensor senses motion, I'll turn my Levitan Visi RF lights on, and at that point then I can go ahead and pick out the clothes that I want to wear and things like that. Then I could have a time delay where the lights turn off, and then we're saving some energy, and everybody wins with some cool automation. And then of course, we look at more security-wise things. When it comes to the Samsung SmartThings with Levitan, we do also tie in with some security cameras. Now this one here is actually a battery-operated, wire-free camera, which is pretty neat. As you can see here, this thing is also pretty small, fits in the palm of my hand, and it does have a magnetic mount, pretty versatile device. And what this does is it'll stream it'll stream video back to your home via a special Arlo router, which you're going to put on your network in your home. So that's kind of how all this works. It's got about a 4 to 6 month battery life, so pretty neat little object. Now moving along here, we do have the Levitan Rc 1500, which is a Zigbee thermostat, which will tie directly into the SmartThings hub. And again, I want to point out that the SmartThings hub does have Zigbee built in, so that's a big thing as well. If you do have some Zigbee products that you have in your house, and you want to, of course, involve some Visi RF or any other Z-Wave devices, then we can do that with this hub. Now, I did mention the water valve, but I do want to put another mention in. The Fortress Z water valve is a Z-Wave water valve, and what that does is, of course, ties into a water line in your home, whether that be a specific sink or the main water line. You can do that as well, and that is going to give you obviously operational ability of the water itself. So that's a pretty cool little product. And then of course, I do want to round this whole system off with the access control. Of course, the home is only as strong as the door, and of course the deadbolt lock that's on it. So as you can see here, I do have a quick set and a Yale on either side of me, but the SmartThings does support Yale, quick set, and Schlage locks. So we will have all those in our arsenal here for, depending on the style that you need. The operational status is all pretty close to the same, so it really just depends on the style that you want, and of course the customer is always happy and always right, so we always want to make sure that that's getting there. And then last but not least, I'm going to circle back around to lighting. This is a little bit different here. What we have here is the Philips Hue color lighting, which is pretty neat. A lot of people haven't seen the color changing bulbs yet, but it's pretty similar and a little bit more popular during the holidays and with entryways and things like that. So we can do that with the Philips Hue bridge here as well, and kind of have a pretty roundabout system here that is definitely meant to not only impress your friends, but make your lives a lot easier when it comes to actually getting things done around the home, or even outside of your home as well, and being aware of what's going on within your home. Now that we've gone over the hardware, of course we want to show a little bit of the software, or the app I should say, in this case. We do have it loaded onto an iPad, but there is apps on the iOS and the Android App Store. Now as you can see here, from the main screen here, we're looking at a dashboard, and it is going to show you the system status, which at this point everything is okay, which is good. That's what we want. Now going down here, what we can do then is we can do armed, armed away or armed stay. Basically, that would do different automations based on the mode that you're in at the time. Say I want to arm away, maybe close my water valve, turn off some lights and things like that. That's what those are there for. And then, of course, we have some other options here. If we had smoke detectors, that is a green light here. And then, of course, we do have some water detectors on the system. So it says leaks, no, at this point, which is pretty cool. Because if I do create a leak, then I can send a notification here from of course, the water sensor to the SmartThings hub, and then back to, my app. So that's pretty cool. Now, as you can see here, it did detect a leak when I picked that up. So that's going to keep that red there until I actually dismiss it, which is pretty nice. You're not going to miss any kind of problems with your system here. Now, another thing I want to show you is, this is definitely important to a lot of people, and that's a history of the entire system. And basically what we go through is every event that's happened on the hub, and as you can see here, detected a lot of water in the last couple minutes anyway, and some other things. So, of course, this would be a complete log. I don't have a whole lot of stuff on here now, but it will log everything that you have going on with the sensors and whatnot in your system. Now, going down on the bottom, the main tile here, of course, we're going to go over to the devices, or My Home app, and that is going to show you either by things, by family, or by rooms. So that's just a different way to break down the different devices and whatnot. But basically, on the top of the list here, it's going to show you all your sensors and controllers. I do have, of course, the multi-sensor, a door sensor, and flood sensor. And then we will get into our lighting, which is our Visi RF, and of course our Philips Hue color changing bulbs. And then, of course, we do have the locks as well on here. So that's where all your devices are consolidated. And as you can see here, it is a very, very fast turnaround when it comes to touching the app and the light switch itself. As you can see here, I have a VRS15 switch and a VRMX1 dimmer from Levitan, which is a universal dimmer itself. And then as you can see here, as soon as I'm tapping on the app here, it's pretty instant turning off. So it's pretty impressive speed there. Now going over to the automations. Basically, automations is your rules or activities. There's a bunch of different names for them, but automations is going to give you the option to say when the door opens, turn the light on, or when the water sensor senses water, then change the water valve to closed, of course. That is basically where we're going to do all of our automations, of course. So that is basically where all that's going on. And then routines here, as you can see, there's a routines button, and then shows another group of buttons here as well. That's going to be different scenes that you want to do based on a button press. So, for instance, I do have a goodbye scene. A goodbye scene would say, shut the water valve, turn the lights off, and arm my system 2 away just in case. Now, once I get back to home, I can click I'm back, and then everything turns on, my water valve opens up so I can then run the dishwasher or anything like that, and you're up and running again. So, pretty nice little, I guess another phrase would be macros to run some automation based on a button press. And the last thing that I want to show you is in the app here, what we can do is we can drill into the specific devices that you are looking into buying, or if you actually already have them. And what we can do then is go to, let's say lighting. So we'll go under lights and switches, and then of course we want to go to switches and dimmers and drill down a little bit. Now we'll look at the Levitan Visi RF stuff, and as you can see here, let's see, I will do a Levitan switch. Now, if I'm looking at the Levitan switch, what's really cool about this app is I do have the instructions manual, which is pretty cool, because if you don't know how to, you definitely want to have the registered electrician wire your switches, but if you have any issues with adding that to the SmartThings, if the SmartThings doesn't help enough, which it will, then you can actually go into the instructions manual and go in and see how to add it to your system by yourself. So you don't have to keep calling tech support. Of course, we are always there for you if you need it, but this will cut down a lot of time on your installation and our calls with you, of course, as well. So that's a really cool, really cool feature that we have here. We also have support articles within the SmartThings website that you can go to as well to show basically everything that you and your fellow users have encountered. So I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Worthington University. Again, my name is Joel from Worthington Distribution, and today we just overviewed a brief, I guess it's not very brief, whole system on the SmartThings with Levitan, and thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call at 800-282-8864, or you can email us at sales@worthdist.com. Thanks.